For the past couple of years, I've been working the bedrock of a river here in Tasmania that has produced some of my best gold nuggets. Finding gold this size in Tasmania is pretty rare, and it was hard to leave the area with such exciting finds made on quite a regular basis.
What?
Despite this, like all alluvial goldfields, I knew things would start to slow down. I knew I'd soon be heading back to old grounds or beginning the search for new locations. I had a particular river in mind that I'd been thinking of revisiting. The last time I was there, I found a 2-gram nugget, which told me that there was still good gold to be found. My mate Anthony had also been working there over the summer months, and when he sent through a video of one of his finds, I must admit my mind had been made up.
Here's all the gold, and there's more down there. It's real gold.
Since the last time I'd been to this river, my skills and my knowledge have increased tenfold, and I'm excited to see what I can dig up this time. The area has a good history of large gold, and the remnants of old-timers' workings can be seen at every angle. I'll be tackling some steep terrain and gorges to access the gold in the upper reaches of this river. It's now 6:30 AM, and I'm now beginning my journey through the dark forest. As I'm moving along, I make a pretty cool, unexpected discovery. I just started walking in. I wish I could show you guys this. Along the edge of this rock wall, there's a whole heap of glowworms. Not sure if they'll come up on the camera. Oh, hang on, there we go. They're so cool. They just look like stars on the screen, but man, you don't see these too often. They're extremely rare. Well, not extremely rare, but yeah, it takes a unique type of forest to create these. Righto, got to drop down in there now, down to the river. You can hear it in the background. Get suited up, hopefully there'll be a bit more daylight and you guys can see what's going on. I'm pretty keen today, has been a long time since I've been here. I'm excited to see what we might be able to dig up. Really remember this pool here. Might be something to come back to later if I don't have any luck upstream. Huge boil holes down in there. Amazing. Now this little alleyway here runs off the side of the river, but the old timers dug all this out years ago. Somewhere up here there's a few old rock stackings. Yeah, there's bedrock all underneath and they were getting down on that. When the river floods, it's blown a lot of its material up in here. Oh yeah, there they are up there. So they were getting down on this stuff. Getting good gold, no doubt. As you can see up in here, it's a bit hard to see on camera, but they've all been placed in there nice and even. Some spots are a little bit tricky to navigate. Looking for any potential cracks or spots in the bedrock that I can get to work. There's a nice one down in there, but the likeliness is that it's already been worked, although it is deep, so with the water being low it could be good. Might come back to that one. Just keep looking for now. I'm going to jump in this pool down in here and have a quick scratch about. Got a few cracks that might not have been done. There were some pretty good crevices and some dropout points in this section of the river, but for some reason in the back of my mind I had a vague recollection that I may have worked this spot once before. Righto, so I mucked around in this pool just down in here and I only got one flake, so not too good, but we'll keep trying. I returned back to the pool that I showed you guys earlier, and it soon became a much better result. Righto! Finally, something exciting's happened. And I've had to walk back to the bag here. I'm working a bit further downstream, but I found a nugget in a really tight packed crevice. And it was funny because it's quite deep, but I thought surely being such an obvious crevice someone would have worked it. And after persisting trying to get through the tight packed magnetite and rocks in it, I got right down to the bottom and sure enough a couple of little flakes appeared. And about 5 minutes later, after busting out another piece of magnetite, there was a nice little nugget sitting in underneath. Just been working a crack down in there. I can't believe that nobody's worked it. Just above this waterfall here, beautiful spot. At this point I was pretty excited because I knew the possibilities of finding gold in a spot like this. No way, there's two down in there. I didn't even see the second one. This is going to be an insane crevice. This piece was a massive chunk of gold and I couldn't believe my luck. That is crazy. No way. Took me a while to get that out. It's broken in half. Somewhere is another half to that nugget. It's very coarse, hasn't travelled far. Wow. Oh. What else is going to be in there? It's such a tricky spot to work, like it's super tight packed and I'm having to hold my breath to get down there. It's about probably 4 or 5 foot deep. Maybe not that deep, but yeah, deep enough that I have to hold my breath. Look at that nugget. It looks so much bigger underwater. It looked like it was an ounce. It always does. It's the refraction of the water. I'm getting back in there. This has just been the craziest morning. I had such a slow start that I left my bag and camera way back as I was just sort of working my way downstream, and I wasn't finding much at all. Like I had like probably 2 flakes and I'd put in a lot of digging and then I just saw that crack there and I noticed it had tight packed gravels, but I thought surely someone's worked it. And it looks like the top material's been taken off, but the stuff right down on the bottom was obviously too tight packed for them and they've overlooked it. The whole bottom of that is loaded with nuggets. Oh my goodness. Woo! Now to try and get them out of there. This spot was tricky and this old bear couldn't get his big hands in there to grab the nuggets. So I decided to try and use the snuffer bottle to move them out of the way. It kinda worked, and it got the job done. It wasn't a huge nugget, but it looked like there'd be plenty more down there. This piece looked small at first glance, but with a bit of digging, there was a nice little surprise.
It's getting bigger. There's literally just nuggets piled up on top of each other. I've never seen anything like this. This is the most exciting day I think of snorkeling I've ever had, and I've had some freaking awesome days. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that could be the other half of that nugget. So it broke off in the very same crevice. I think it looks like it's been broken away as well.
This day was a big wake-up call. When I finished working on this river a few years ago, I really thought that the gold had slowed down. But I really feel since this time my skills have improved, and I've got a keener eye to know what to look for. At this rate, things were going to add up fast, and this piece here was probably another half gram. I hadn't even reached the bottom of the crevice yet, and it's the last inch of material that usually gives up the best gold. I never get tired of sniping for gold. If you've enjoyed this video so far, help me reach its true potential by liking, sharing and dropping a comment below. And if you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe. This here's the moments where I'm in the zone. I'm not thinking about anything else in the world, but the moment I'm in. The sun on my back was incredible, and I was out to get the job done. There were some big rocks to contend with, but with gold like that, there was no way that I wouldn't be getting these things moved. There's so much more work that goes into finding this gold behind the scenes, and I think it's important that I add some of this. Okay, now that those big rocks are removed, we're getting closer to the crevice below, but we've still got a heap of finer gravels to move first. Sometimes you just have to work like a human excavator.
Okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I've moved a lot of that gravel off the top, and down underneath there's heaps of magnetite and really tight packed rocks, and the crevice is quite wide as well. I'll show you what I'm looking at.
I love to see the concentrations of iron and magnetite. It means we're getting closer to the gold.
Righto, let's get it out of there and see what's in there. We got another little nugget.
Come on, mate, it's just a picker. They were beautiful, tight-packed rocks, which means that we're in business here. There were small bits of gold starting to show, but we hadn't quite reached the bottom yet, and the crevice itself runs right across into the bank. As we get closer, some good concentrations begin to show. A couple more little pickers.
I've just opened up a tiny little crack down in the base of the crevice, and I got that first little nugget, and I can see two more little ones down in there as well.
It was certainly one of those breath hold sorts of days. This rock here was a bit of a challenge to get out. You got to learn a bit of patience with prospecting, and stuff like this is part of the job. It's still caught up in there, so we're going to have to go deeper in the gravels around it. And finally, we get that sucker removed. Another big rock out of the way. The big ones are kind of good because they take up a good amount of the space being covered, which makes it a little bit quicker.
Been a long time coming, trying to clean all that gravel out, but I've just got down into the base of this crack here, and looks like there's another little nugget down in there. And it looks to be an absolute river too.
It was another beautiful chunk, and it looked like there was more to come as well. Each time I'd take a few more millimetres of gravel, there'd be more gold hiding underneath. And some of those pieces had some good size as well.
This is just, I don't know what to say, this is just the most incredible thing I've ever seen. The smallest crack, and there's just nuggets literally piled up on top of each other. It must just be the ultimate trap right here above this waterfall. There's no wonder there's so much gold in it. It's just loaded up with magnetite. The entire crevice is just full of magnetite.
The magnetite is iron rich and heavy, and where heavies collect, gold collects as well. This sucker was stuck good.
Righto, you can get a pretty good look at this crevice now. I've cleaned out the bulk of the material, and I can start to see a few little bits of gold and some tight packed rocks right down in the bottom.
It was another ripper piece, and I couldn't believe the amount of nuggets that I'd pulled from this one location.
It's so crystalline. I just picked it up. Not that big, but I just picked it up and it fell apart. Tiny little coarse bit broke off the edge.
The gold was really crystalline, really coarse, and it means that the source of this gold must be somewhere nearby. And just when you start to think there couldn't possibly be any more, there was. The crevice was running deep into the bank of the river, and it wouldn't be long and things would be coming to an end.
It'll be above the waterline here shortly. Get the old pan. Well, giant crevice is all finished. Well, except for a little bit above the waterline. The gold did thin out as I got higher. Yeah, she ran from over there right up into here. It is hard to make out, but down in just behind my crevicing hook is where I started in the centre, and I probably only came about 3 feet and I got all those nuggets that you guys seen. Just the most incredible amount of gold. And then I continued on over that other side, and then there's this big slab of bedrock behind that, and it's funny, but that side over there looked like it had been worked. It was just down in this deeper section. So I'm thinking whoever worked it must have worked it probably when the river was higher and they couldn't get into it. But man, they left the good gold down there. I mean, they may have got good gold up here, but I don't think it would have been as rich, because generally if you've got low bedrock in front and then higher bedrock at the back, it doesn't tend to collect in the crevices much. Whereas over here, the bedrock's elevated and then it drops down in. Now, I'm not finished yet either. The best could be in under here, but there's a couple of giant boulders sitting on top. But with that little crowbar that I've got, I just don't know if I'll be able to move it. There's 2 big ones there, but we'll have a crack. See if we can get it moved. Hopefully that continues on right behind this big ledge here where my bag's sitting. That's a big elevated slab of bedrock, and there's a ton of gravel down in behind that.
Well, it turns out that I did get them moved in the end, and there was a bit more gold to be found in a nice little crack. This chunky piece here took me by surprise, and it was good to see that the nuggets were still coming. But it wasn't long after this piece, and my work for the day was done, and it was time to head home. Here's the first half of that nugget. As you can see, it's quite crystalline looking up in there, and I don't believe this gold's travelled very far at all. There's little bits of quartz and stone caught up inside. I think these are just fine gravels that have worked their way in over time from the river, more so than the host rock itself. The other half is much the same, but look at the colour of the gold inside there. I believe this stuff would be pretty pure. You can see they join up really nicely, It was cool to find them in the same crevice about 15 minutes apart. It does make you wonder at what point it broke and the two pieces were separated. This is all the gold combined. The crazy thing about this gold is it's mainly just all nuggets, and it's crazy to think that it all came from just one crevice. The nuggets in the hand just to give it some scale. We'll weigh them in separately to get a bit of an idea. So we've got 0.39, a half grammer, 0.35, 0.3, another half grammer, just under half a gram, 0.36, 0.61, another 0.61, 0.73, getting bigger, 1.14 grams, 1 gram and 7, 1.77, 1.75, and the biggest at 3.8. Then if we combine the other half with it, we've got 5.55. And for our grand total of nuggets in one crevice, we have a whopping 20.15 grams of gold. And to give you an idea of its value, we'll set it at 22 carat because obviously it's not 100% pure. And it comes in at around $3,000 Australian. I guess the moral of the story is, if you've been thinking of revisiting some spots that you maybe haven't been to in a while, you should most definitely plan to do it, and hopefully you might have some success and find something that you may have overlooked the last time you were there. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and as always, if you could like, comment and share with someone else, that'd be fantastic. And until next time, happy hunting, and we'll see you all then.